Today on the show, we are talking wellness with Dr. John Hatch from the Brain Rehab Clinic.
And we're also talking great events coming up. You don't want to miss them.
You do not. And some classic movie fun. All this and more happening right now on Talk365TV. Here we go.
And welcome back to Talk365TV. Trip Mitchell, Holly Love here on the CW30. Do you know how to fly?
I've never flown a plane.
Okay.
A simulator. And from the simulation, I should never be asked to fly a plane.
So in order to fly, all you have to do is throw yourself at the ground and miss.
I've heard this quote before from you.
It's from Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But we went up this morning into the Ochre Mountains to fix the transmitter.
Which you do every year for your TV station KPDR, which if you have channel 19 on a terrestrial TV station, you can find KPDR.
So getting to fly in a Bell Jet Long Ranger is as cool an experience as you can possibly have. And you feel like you get into a helicopter and you are the coolest person. And I want to thank Chad from Classic Helicopters. He did an amazing job. But whenever you're coming for a landing, you feel like you're getting out of the Ferrari.
A rock star.
Oh my gosh.
Only thing better would be in New York in a helicopter, because I think those are the serious players, right?
Well, I talked to Chad about it, and he said it's really easy to land on a helipad, but for instance, for us up at Kessler Peak, we had to nose in and we couldn't land. So Larry and Rick had to jump out of the helicopter with their packs on a snowfield that's kind of on a cliff on either side.
Whoa. That sounds really scary.
And I was sitting there just fine. I mean,
What about post Kobe Bryant helicopter? Has he faced some issues, or what is his situation now?
So he feels, and this is not an expert, that probably it was weather related, and maybe, who knows whether the pilot was forced into it, or, people, sometimes, your schedule, you push people to do stuff, whether driving or whatever, and maybe the weather was the problem there. But helicopters are inherently really safe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you've ever been scared or if you've ever had a close
Never.
call.
And I've flown a lot. And so we're going to take you up. That's our next mission.
I would love to go as long as I don't have to drive it. I think everyone will be just fine.
Yeah, a helicopter is not one of the things where you just pick up easily.
I won't jump out of it though.
Flight simulators are so much fun. I've talked about this on the show before.
They're hard. I run into the mountain every time. I have no idea which way is up.
Which is really hard because you were flying in the sub-Sahara desert. And you still run into a mountain.
I found the mountain
every time. That's the tough part. What are we doing when we come back?
When we come back, we've got our event news you can use, and we're going to be talking a little classic movies in there as well, so stick around.
Let's get ready for home appliance repair.
George, we have Choice Home Warranty.
Oh yeah, with Choice Home Warranty, we don't have to fight expensive repair bills. Hi, George Foreman here, and if you're a homeowner, stop getting sucker punched by the high cost of home repairs. Choice Home Warranty can protect over 25 of your home's major systems and appliances.
For about $1 a day.
And if their army of expert technicians can't fix it, they'll replace it.
You could save thousands.
You never have to worry about getting ripped off or scramble for trusted repairmen. Choice Home Warranty has a proven record 1,000,000 times over. So when your heater, oven, or fridge throw in the towel, call Choice Home Warranty, and for about $1 a day, never pay for covered home repairs again.
Call right now for your free quote, and we'll include your first month free. Call 800-338-0462, 800-338-0462.
Hey everyone, I'm Holly Love, and I am here at the Certified Hypnotherapy Training School with my good friend Dennis Parker. Dennis, I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, When do classes start?
A person can start with the online portion of the training anytime and then come into the live classroom trainings as we have them scheduled.
Who's signing up and why?
We have people who sign up to be certified clinical hypnotherapists who want to have those clinical skills to be able to affect behavioral modification. We have people who are executives, managers, or who want to have other career enhancements. And we also have grandparents and parents who want to know how to work with their own children and family.
Number 3, what happens if people mention that they saw us on Talk365?
We're offering a $200 textbook and CD package as part of their full registration.
All of this information and more is available on the website. Log on and change your life today. Enroll now. Classes start soon.
Talk365 TV's Classic Movie Minute with Todd Summers. And welcome back to Talk365 TV. Trip Mitchell, Holly Love on this gorgeous morning. And now as we transition into cool events that are spring-like. That's always fun.
Spring, summer, and into fall. This is my time to be alive. My favorite time. I know, skiers, I'm sorry, I have no sadness for you. But besides trip and skiing year round, there are so many fun things to do in Utah. And the Food Truck League is one of my faves. Now, these guys bring food.
Are they superheroes?
Yes.
The Food Truck League.
Yes, wow. They are do. I think they'd love that comparison, actually.
Well,
they should probably adopt it. No, the Food Truck League is Food Truck Friday up here in Bountiful all the way through September, as well as the whole Food Truck League shows up and makes it a party somewhere near you, either on Mondays or Thursdays or Fridays. And then, of course, at different events. So go to the Food Truck League's Facebook page. They visit West Valley. They're at Daybreak, they're in Tooele. Again, I mentioned Bountiful, they're in Sandy and North Salt Lake. So everywhere you are, for the most part, you can be about 10 minutes away from a food truck party, either on a Monday, a Thursday, a Friday, or some special event. I will tell you my one from last year, I'm gonna stalk Arazzi and find again, is the Peruvian food trucks, because they have these avocados, Trip Mitchell. They are called Queen avocados. And then Sylvia told me once that Peruvians make rice delicious, and I was like, okay, sure. Peruvian people, you make rice amazing. I don't know what voodoo you do, but I'm coming for your rice this year. You have to try it. It's that good. It's weird. It's like a texture thing. It just becomes amazing.
Okay, well, we will do it.
But we got to get the Queen avocado. Anyway, it's a party. It's super fun. So we love this time of year. It's happening right now. And we also love classic movies. Staying home, basically. Hanging with your family, late night movies. You can't beat it. Our friend Todd Summers loves classic movies. And Trip and I were debating over Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and Casablanca. Give me a quick thought.
Casablanca, way overrated, even though I haven't seen it.
Trip doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't like classic movies, and his favorites are The Blind Side and Dolphin Tales.
Blind Side is wonderful. It'll make you cry. Dolphin Tale, one of the greatest stories ever told. It's got everything in it. It's got special effects. No, it doesn't. It's got acting.
Maybe a little special effects.
Harry
Connick Jr. is adorable, and you know what? I got to tell you, I love Sandra Bullock no matter what. It's just Blind Side. I loved her in The Proposal.
True story. Casablanca, way overrated. That was
every film student is supposed to have seen, or anyone into film, and I haven't. It's just one of those. Todd gives me a hard time because he's a film buff. Well, maybe we should. You wouldn't sit still long enough to watch it. Maybe Sylvs and I will sit down and we'll watch a little Casablanca. But in the meantime, we're talking Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Marilyn Monroe, Jane Russell. Tell me you've not seen this movie in love.
Have I seen it? No.
Oh, Trip, it's my childhood. I grew up watching this show with my mom. She loved all the beautiful pinup girls from the 50s and 60s. I don't know, can I call them pinup stars? Ingenues, you know, the Marilyn Monroes, the Rita Hayworths, all the ones in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. It's everything you could want and more, and what we didn't tell you, Todd's going to tell you right now. Check it out.
Hi, everybody. This is Todd Summers with your Classic Movie Minute. Now, here's a great movie from 1953. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. There's a scene in this movie that I bet you have seen. It's called Gentlemen Prefer Blonde, starring Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell. Now, this movie was directed by Howard Hawks, who was one of the most versatile directors in Hollywood back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's a little bit out of his genre because he was mostly known for doing westerns and tough guy movies over at Warner Brothers. Now, when Marilyn was told that she wasn't the star of this movie, she said, "That's okay, I'm still the blonde." A fantastic movie from 1953, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. You can rent this baby at any of your favorite digital platforms. It's worth the 2 hours or whatever. It's a fantastic, just watch it.
This is important news for members of the military who suffer from hearing loss or ringing in the ears, also known as tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued these dual-ended combat earplugs and now have hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses from the earplug manufacturer. If you or a loved one were issued the dual-ended combat earplugs and now have hearing loss or ringing in the ears, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Operators are standing by.
For the time of your life, watch Talk365 TV every weekday on Utah CW30 or anytime online.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Diabetics understand all too well the pain of pricking your fingers. But now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor or CGM, you can immediately reduce your pain. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn about this groundbreaking new CGM technology. And if you have Medicare, you can get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 4 or more times daily, injecting insulin 3 or more times daily, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how you can get your own continuous glucose monitor or CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Talk365 TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Brain Rehab Clinic. And welcome back to Talk365 TV. Trip Mitchell, Holly Love, talking a little bit about brain injuries in children. And I happen to know quite a bit about this. My alma mater is the school that really took the lead on this, Boston University Med School. And they had a bunch of brains donated by football players who suffered CTE. And how it affected their lives and other athletes as well. And they're finding out that these brain injuries a lot of times can happen at youth level. And what is the most dangerous sport for brain injuries? Soccer over football. In terms of girls' soccer is huge.
Wow.
And now I just had my annual physical, and my doctor was talking about the fact she bought her son a $250 helmet for hockey, but it's made all the difference in the world.
Really?
So when young kids suffer brain injuries, it can be traumatic.
Well, the thing that I find the most interesting and the biggest takeaway that I've had from working with Dr. Hatch and really diving into functional neurology and neuroplasticity and how fast that industry is changing and what they're learning so rapidly through testing. I mean, it's not just guessing. They have the test to prove it. That most behavioral problems in adults and especially kids are due to a brain injury or head trauma. So you think a kid is just maybe a brat, or they're hard to be around, or they are explosive, or they have anger problems, and you make it a character flaw. Kids, and again, adults alike. But what I've learned is through brain rehab and healing the brain, if there's trauma there to the brain, those behaviors go away, and all of a sudden you have a more compliant, you have a more happy, you have a more positive. It's amazing that the brain runs the show and how much that applies to the emotional side of things. So you can learn all about what they can do at the Brain Rehab Clinic to help you with your kids from newborn all the way up. So check it out.
Talk365 TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Brain Rehab Clinic with wellness team expert Dr. John Hatch.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Talking Wellness series on brain function. Today I am back at the Brain Rehab Clinic with our favorite brain expert, Dr. John Hatch. Hi.
Hi, thanks for coming again.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love a good conversation with you because they're all hot topics. Everyone wants to know how to up-level their life through up-leveling their brain. So today we are going to talk about the developing brain and what is happening there and why we have so many kids struggling with ADHD, emotional disorders. There's so many parents out there who are at the end of their rope, teachers who have given up, kids who are just struggling from every aspect you can think of, and going on medications younger and younger and younger. So what's going on?
Yeah, you have a huge spectrum here going on. We have kids that aren't talking, aren't focusing, aren't learning, or are really quiet. And then we have the kid that's jumping all over the place, won't pay attention, is aggravated, upset, angry. And so people don't know what to do. And the medication is kind of like a, well, let's try this, we're unsure, we're not sure of this part. The developing brain is actually more simple than we give credit to. It builds building block upon building block like you're building a house. You build the foundation, you build the framework, and then you get it onto the details. A lot of people are jumping so quickly to the details of a child's brain and they want him to do mathematics, but they don't have the right sensory system correct to even develop the mathematics. And so we're able to see so many different walks of life here in the clinic because through our diagnostic tests, similar to our aging brain, we can see what hasn't developed yet. Because we know how a child's brain develops. Hey, at this stage you should be here, at this stage you should be here. And a lot of parents are like, oh, we missed that window, so now there's no hope there. No, there's complete hope. You can miss 3 of the steps. Your brain can still adapt, you can still make changes. These young brains develop faster. The difference in the clinic is you might not see the same quick result because the quick result is with an already existing brain, like an elderly brain or a teenager or an adult, that you quickly just reconnect things. With a child, it's exciting because you're actually developing a pathway that's never existed for them. The outcome is like
huge,
life-changing.
So life-changing.
Yeah.
Every experience they're going to have from that point forward is going to be different from that point forward. Well, let's talk about the things that may be contributing, like an injury that you don't know about.
Yeah, a lot of times injuries are hugely affected. People will come in and say, oh, my kid's never hit their head. And I'm like, I have a 2-year-old, he falls all the time. He's had more goose eggs than most humans should. And we know that's gonna change how the brain adapts to the environment. Or the child that doesn't sleep through the night. And the parent's like, I've tried everything. Melatonin's not working, supplements, medication's not working. It's how the brain's developing.
You talk a lot about how, we are in this world with technology and the coolest things, how to make your brain be able to work within it faster, better, stronger, not never use it.
And so the technology is intelligent. People always ask me, what's your law on screen time? I don't have a rule on screen time because half of the fathers or moms are sitting at a desk job all day for 15 hours a day. So the amazing thing is it's not the lack of screen time. It's where are your eyes in association to that screen. That's what I'm looking at. So the biggest thing that I see with patients in developing children's brains is most of them, if you watch them, it's not their bad neck posture because their head's down. It's actually because they're starting to bring their eyes into a cross-eye, we call it a convergence, because the target or the image they're looking at is closer. Look at your average 2-year-old, 4-year-old that's watching a video. I mean, it is under 8 inches. They're like this. And they're in a cross-eyed state that is activating their fight or flight stage in the brain, and that's developing. So they're developing the fight or flight with the frontal lobe that is causing their eyes to move all around. So they're not getting the same sensory aspect, and it develops gut issues. It develops these food sensitivities that we've seen higher in today's society than ever before. We've had so many patients that have come in that have had a child that's so underdeveloped that they say, well, they'll never speak, they'll never learn, they'll never read, they'll never walk. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, 18 months later, that child's walking, reading, focusing, playing, doing all the things that the world has said, you got a broken child, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't think any child's broken. I believe every child has a chance if we can activate their brain right. Even the anger emotional traumas are more neurological than they are emotional.
Which I think is something that is mind-blowing and empowering at the same time for parents who are struggling with those kids that are just anger reactive all the time and hold on to anger and are having a hard time having friends.
Yes. So a lot of times people focus too much on frontal lobe development. So what I've noticed is instead of this whole focus that frontal lobes are the problem, what I've seen neurologically is it's more sensory imbalance. There's a lot more sensory connections that are broken, that aren't activated right because we're not moving, we're not as active as we once were, that we don't have the same ability to develop the sensory pathway, so then the frontal lobe develops too fast, but has still an underdeveloped sensory system, so then they start talking and acting like an adult, and they're 6 years old, and you're having a conversation with a 6-year-old that's like, this is the most frustrating thing ever, but their sensory system is underdeveloped at like a 4-year-old, so they're not even comprehending what's happening. So what I've noticed, tantrums, like hyperfixations. I know you know what I'm talking about. When that child just fixes, and it's like, why can't the child break that? It's because of its development, not because it's strong-willed or misbehaving.
And so kids coming in here, what ages, how should people be thinking about bringing their children into brain rehab?
Well, when I look at a child, it's where are they at in their development. Truthfully, with all of our diagnostic tests, from about age 4 and up, we can do most of the diagnostic tests on any age 4 and up, unless that brain is really underdeveloped because they don't want to put a goggle headset on or they can't stand still. There's still information we can gain. I've seen patients as young as 1 month, 2 months, 3 months in that first year of development, and the child isn't latching on right. The child isn't tracking right with their eyes or cross-crawling at month 6 or month 9 or whatever it may be. With a newborn or a younger child, there's still based neurological testing that tell you where the brain are broken down, like a Babinski test. You can tell more out of a Babinski test than any other test on a child, and you see these reflexes and say, that is abnormal, let's apply some therapies and see if we can get it to change.
Is it the same for kids as it is with adults? It's a little heavy at the start. If you can get in here to the clinic, how does that work?
So we like to see a brain for a whole week, and the reason why we like to see it for a week and see it every day is we're not going to see symptoms change unless we can see the brain change. And a brain can change pretty rapidly. So we can see changes and results pretty much each day. So as the brain's developing, it should change and shift, change and shift. We should see an outcome by the end of the week. That's why we do such a week intense. And then from there, it's about empowering the parents and the child to get to that 3-month mark. It's amazing when we look at these results and we see a child go from can't focus, can't read, to now top of their class, really focused in school, 3 months, 6 months later. It's our responsibility just to get the therapies right for them. And no two brains are the same, which is why a cookie cutter program doesn't work on a developing brain. It will only get a few of them. The key is getting every child, because every child matters. And when the child believes in themselves, it even takes it to another level. When a child can see how bad the system really is, it validates in them, I'm not broken. I'm not something that's a lost cause. There really is a reason why I can't read or I can't focus. I want that confidence in that child.
Yeah, I think the main point that I would recommend is come in, because what do you have to lose except for a child that has everything to gain and a whole new life to experience in a different way. And the testing here is so thorough and so on point that you're gonna know if this is the right thing to do or not. So the best way is log on to his website. There is tons of information there. There are online trainings, and there are even initial consultations that you can purchase to learn more before you even need to come in here to know if this is the right thing for you, your family, your child. And then get in here, get this work done. Your kids are gonna thank you. You're gonna be happier, everyone's happier. When the brain is happy, everyone's happy. That's what I've learned.
So true.
Well, Dr. Hatch, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I can't wait till the next round, but in the meantime, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on Talk365TV right after this.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, they're cracking down by garnishing paychecks and seizing assets. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. Call Optima Tax Relief. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, a special IRS program that could save you thousands if you qualify. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients and will fight to get you the best deal possible. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-297-5963.
Optima Tax Relief.
Hey everyone, I'm Holly Love, and I am here at the Certified Hypnotherapy Training School with my good friend Dennis Parker. Dennis, I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, when do classes start?
A person can start with the online portion of the training anytime, and then come into the live classroom trainings as we have them scheduled.
Who's signing up and why?
We have people who sign up to be certified clinical hypnotherapists who want to have those clinical skills to be able to affect behavioral modification. We have people who are executives, managers, or who want to have other career enhancements. And we also have grandparents and parents who want to know how to work with their own children and family.
Number 3, what happens if people mention that they saw us on Talk365?
We're offering a $200 textbook and CD package as part of their full registration.
All of this information and more is available on the website. Log on and change your life today. Enroll now. Classes start soon.
Brain Rehab Clinic is proud to announce that they're the first clinic in Utah to have on-site the gyrostem. And welcome back to the show. We've got you almost up to 7 a.m. You know what? Take the rest of the day off. Stay in bed, watch movies.
Right? So, okay, you were going to tell me something I need to be watching again on Netflix. What have you been watching?
So, one of the movies that has gotten much better, but it's the Quentin Tarantino movie set in 1969. And I am not normally someone who can watch a 3.5-hour movie. I loved it.
Really?
It's that Brad Pitt and...
Brad Pitt was amazing. The whole thing was amazing. I just didn't like the scariness of the whole cult thing. Well, just it was very historical, so you couldn't relax. It was like...
But the ending was not how it happened.
Of course not. It went Tarantino full bore.
It did, and then The Irishman on Netflix.
Okay, you finally saw it?
Yeah, Martin Scorsese, and he got the whole gang together again.
Right.
And one of their earlier movies is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's Casino. Now, warning, don't watch with your kids. You're going to hear a lot of foul language. There's some violence in there.
A lot of drugs.
Yeah, and it's kind of, they did a trilogy. They started with Goodfellas, went to Casino, and now The Irishman. And what's fun to see is people who've worked together a lot get back on the horse. And Joe Pesci is great in everything. And he had been retired, and they had to really bug him to get him back on board.
Did you watch the little special on Netflix where they actually talk about the making of it? And
no, I haven't. We should do that.
Yeah, go check that out. So I watched a show called Cheer, and now this is something everyone at Sundance was saying everybody needs to watch. But this, as far as a docuseries with a really amazing message as far as being there and helping people accomplish their dreams, it's a really, really great one. I'd recommend checking out Cheer. That coach, she is just this phenomenal person who stands and helps these, kids they're the best in the world as far as cheer champions go, and they're in this small little town and they have people from everywhere come. And I mean, she loves her kids, and a lot of them have issues with financial and came from abusive backgrounds. And
so it's almost like Hoosiers for cheer.
Probably. You just don't realize how intense cheer is until you watch it.
Well, that's another sport that they have a high incidence of accidents.
Concussions, yeah.
I mean, they're throwing these young ladies into the air.
Really, anytime you hit your head. My whole problem, I was suffering from a concussion for 2 years, and I had gone to the emergency room 3 times. I had so many weird problems happening that I just thought I was losing it health-wise. And what I'd really done is, in 2 different instances, as an adult human, slipped and hit my head. But it was enough that...
As an adult human?
Well, meaning when you're walking out of a Christmas party and you just slip and you hit your head, you're embarrassed. And you're like, oh no, I'm fine. Or when you're at say, improv class in LA with a bunch of students and a really high-end coach, they're watching you and you slip and you hit your head. You sort of jump up and want to pretend like it didn't happen. But any bumps
when you stub your toe on the curb, it is embarrassing, and I always look to see if anyone's watching.
Do you do the run?
Oh,
if
yeah.
You trip?
Hey, we have had a lot of fun. I think we're going to do this tomorrow morning.
Probably, so you should come back. But have a wonderful day in the meantime.